Hello, friends. I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. I was practicing bass last night, and I found something peculiar that I know intellectually. I know that this peculiarity is a common thing, and that it is kind of a state of being that is what professional sports players find, but it's interesting to see it in action, right? To have a task where I can kind of switch between. So I'm playing bass. I'm taking a course. I bought a course from a YouTube guy called Dan Hawkins. Playing his Motown blues and funk course. Very cool course. Very cool blues lines or funk lines, Motown lines. Just awesome music in general. And I thought it'd be fun to just take a course where I'm learning kind of the history of the music as I'm playing it. And by the way, Dan is fantastic. If you want to learn to play bass, you should watch Dan's channel. Buy his courses if you like. They're actually they're on sale, but it doesn't matter. They're only on sale for today. They're probably already over because he's in Europe. I don't know. Regardless, playing it last night. The day before, I was learning a line from, I don't know who, but it was actually a fairly, no, it's not simple. It's kind of complex line. It's got some string crossing, which means you're jumping, from the low string to the third, whatever. You're jumping around strings and stuff, and finger patterns are a little weird. And I struggled with it the day before, and I was not able to play it at full speed. I was able to play it at about 80% cleanly. And I was like, okay, I'll park this lesson for today, and then I'll come back to it tomorrow, because what I find is if I take a break, usually overnight, take a sleep, come back, I can suddenly do it, right? So I picked up my bass last night to practice, and I didn't even turn the video on. I just played the line. And I fumbled like once or twice, and then I just played the line. No problems. Just like, oh, well, that was magic. And I did it again. And I did it again, faster, faster. And I went, all right. So I turned the backing track on, went back to the lesson, turned it on, put it on 80%, couldn't play it. Just fumbled my way through it like an idiot. Like, what is happening? Went back down to 50%. I could play it at 50%. Okay, fine. Back up to 80%, couldn't play it. Turn the recording off, play it just fine. And it was that part of me where if I'm not thinking about it, if I'm just zoned out and I'm hearing the line in my head, maybe I'm singing it, da 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 da, whatever the line is, off the top of my head, I can't sing it right now. I could just play it no problem. But as soon as I started thinking about it, as soon as I started watching the sheet music, listening to the backing track, making sure my fingers were doing what they're supposed to be doing, it all fell apart. And it's that weird, I think that professional sports, or just kind of anybody, honestly, call it the flow state. And I think that flow state is that moment of not thinking about it. It's that time when you're playing basketball and you take the jump shot and you know before the ball leaves your hands it's going in. Like, you nailed it. Like, there's no question that ball is going in, and it does every time. You have that same, it was the same exact thing, but suddenly I was able to turn it off and on. I could think about it and I would fumble. I could stop thinking about it and play it perfectly. And it was the weirdest feeling to be able to jump back and forth between these two zones. And I wonder, this is going to be a little bit controversial, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what your position is on this, but there's a lot of people who say any sort of performative art, and that could even be sports, but they say, in particular, I'm talking about bar games, but maybe bowling or darts or pool or playing music. A couple of drinks in and I'm a better player. I've heard that my entire life, and I did not understand it. But I think I do now. I think I can see, because those couple of drinks keep you from overthinking it. Overthinking it is the problem. And I think that overthinking it has been my problem of everything for my entire life, right? I'm a chronic overthinker. And so as soon as I was able to turn it off, magic. I could play the line, no problem. And I don't think I've ever found anything that I've done of the hundreds of hobbies I've had in my life. I don't think I've ever found one where I was able to just think about turning off my thinking. I don't know how to explain it. It was like no concentration to pure, like, okay, let me watch my fingers. Let me see if I'm on the right frets. Everything falls apart. Look away. Stop thinking. Done. That was magical. It was a really cool moment. And I'd like to figure out how to apply that to other situations. Obviously, not here. I think turning my brain off in the shop is a really bad idea. But, you know, there's a lot of life situations where overthinking it is detrimental to completion or to just doing whatever it is you're trying to do. And learning to shut that part off, I'm hoping maybe I can kind of figure out how to extrapolate this lesson and take it from this, one particular task and apply it to other things. I'm not sure, but I'm going to keep experimenting with it to see if I can switch that on and off. So I guess I'm curious to know, can you switch your overthinking off at will with any of your tasks, with anything that you do? Is there a moment where you can be like, all right, now it's time to just go into automatic mode and things just work out better? Or the 2-drink thing. Have you experienced that yourself? I don't necessarily advocate drinking it of any. I do. I drink whiskey, whatever, but I don't necessarily be like, I'm going to go drink before, because I feel like that becomes a crutch, and then that's how you develop a problem. But curious if you have experienced it. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's 1,000 plus little things happy, successful people do differently. We are learning. I'm learning to find the page in the book. There we go. 12 stressful things to stop tolerating. We are on number 3, other people's negativity. You do not have control over what others say and do, but you can prevent their poisonous words and actions from invading your heart and mind. Remember, if you do not respect your sacred inner space, no one else will either. This one, probably one of my biggest life lessons. I grew up surrounded by a lot of negativity, and I had to learn to just not care anymore. Not that I don't care. I had to learn to not take that negativity to heart. I lived with. There are people in my life that still to this day it's just negativity after negativity, and I had to learn to just let them be negative. They're going to continue to be victims of whatever their situation is, and I don't need to engage with that. I can just engage with the parts that I wish to engage with, and that's what I do. And I think that's a really important life lesson. Give it a shot.